Chapter 4. The Emotional Aftermath, Betrayal, Trauma, and Resilience. 4.1 The Initial Shock, Understanding Betrayal Trauma. The discovery of infidelity can provoke a profound emotional upheaval, akin to the shock of an unexpected disaster. When a person learns that their partner has been unfaithful, the first reaction is often an intense surge of emotions, ranging from disbelief and confusion to profound sadness and anger. This tumultuous period is characterized by a flood of questions, as the betrayed partner attempts to make sense of the information that contradicts their understanding of the relationship. The feeling of the ground giving way beneath them is not just metaphorical, but translates into a sense of a loss of stability and safety in the relationship that once provided a sense of security. The initial shock of betrayal is often followed by a period of psychological trauma, sometimes referred to as betrayal trauma. This emotional state results from the sudden and significant damage to the trust that is foundational to a committed relationship. Betrayal trauma can manifest in a variety of symptoms that are similar to those experienced after other traumatic events, such as intrusive thoughts about the affair, hypervigilance regarding the partner's behavior, and difficulty concentrating on daily tasks. Sleep disturbances and altered appetite are also common as the body's normal routines are disrupted by the emotional distress. One key aspect of betrayal trauma is the shattering of assumptions about one's partner and the relationship itself. Many individuals in a committed relationship operate under the belief that their partnership is built on mutual trust and fidelity. When infidelity occurs, it challenges these core beliefs, causing a person to question not only their partner's commitment, but also their own judgment. This can lead to a destabilizing sense of uncertainty in all areas of life, as foundational truths about close relationships are called into question. Amidst the emotional chaos, a common response is the intense desire to understand why the infidelity occurred. Betrayed partners often find themselves analyzing the timeline of the relationship, searching for signs or red flags they might have missed. This scrutiny can become obsessive as they seek explanations for their partner's actions. This process is driven by the need to regain some sense of control and predictability, which have been deeply compromised by the betrayal. Reactions to infidelity vary greatly among individuals and can be influenced by past experiences, personality, and the specific context of the betrayal. Some may react with outward expressions of anger, seeking immediate accountability from their partner. Others might internalize the pain, withdrawing from the partner and others as they process the hurt and confusion privately. Despite the variance in response, there is often a common thread of mourning the loss of the relationship as it was understood before the betrayal. Moreover, the impact of the betrayal is not confined to emotional responses, but can extend into physical health. The stress and trauma associated with infidelity can trigger physiological reactions, including increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, and the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Over time, if the stress response is prolonged, this can have detrimental effects on an individual's health, potentially exacerbating pre-existing conditions or contributing to new health concerns. Social support plays a crucial role during this initial phase of shock and trauma. The decision to confide in friends, family members, or mental health professionals can be pivotal in starting the healing process. Support of others can offer an outside perspective, help to validate the betrayed partner's feelings, and provide comfort. However, the fear of judgment or the desire for privacy can make some individuals hesitant to seek support, which can compound the feeling of isolation and complicate the recovery process. Dealing with the immediate aftermath of discovering infidelity often necessitates tough decision-making. The betrayed may grapple with whether to confront the partner, seek more information, or end the relationship immediately. These decisions are deeply personal and require careful thought, as they will shape the trajectory of the individual's recovery and their future relationship dynamics. It is in these moments that clarity often feels out of reach, as emotional turmoil can cloud judgment. Long-term implications of the initial shock phase can set the stage for the healing journey ahead. Whether the relationship will endure or end the individual must navigate a complex maze of emotions, thoughts, and decisions. Coming to terms with the betrayal is a gradual process, often necessitating the processing of intense emotions and potentially shaking the betrayed partner's confidence in their decision-making abilities and their overall worldview. The initial shock of infidelity is just the beginning of a challenging and often painful journey. The subsequent steps towards healing and resilience require confronting the trauma, reflecting on one's needs and values, and deciding on a path forward. The path is seldom straight or clear-cut, and each individual's experience of betrayal and recovery is as unique as the circumstances surrounding the infidelity. Understanding this emotional aftermath is crucial for grasping the depth and complexity of betrayal trauma and provides the essential groundwork for supporting individuals as they begin to navigate the uncertain terrain of their post-betrayal lives. 4.2 Emotional Stages Post-Discovery. When an individual discovers their partner's infidelity, the emotional aftermath can be turbulent and complex. The initial response often involves shock, a numbing disbelief that buffers the immediate pain that follows the revelation. This shock can manifest itself physically, with symptoms resembling those of anxiety or panic attacks, a racing heart, shortness of breath, and an overwhelming feeling of dread. The disbelief serves as a protective mechanism, temporarily shielding the individual from the full impact of the betrayal. However, this stage is usually transient and gives way to more intense emotional responses once the reality of the situation begins to settle in. The subsequent stage is often characterized by a barrage of intense and conflicting emotions. Anger and sadness frequently intermingle, creating a turbulent emotional landscape. The betrayed partner might find themselves oscillating between a desire to salvage the relationship and feelings of repulsion toward their unfaithful partner. Intense sadness can set in as the individual mourns the loss of trust and the relationship they once believed in. During this period, many struggle with intrusive thoughts and images of the affair, which can exacerbate feelings of hurt and betrayal. Feelings of rejection and low self-esteem are common threads in this emotional tapestry. The thought that one's partner sought intimacy with another person can lead to deep self-doubt and persistent questioning of one's self-worth. This internalization of the betrayal can result in a distorted self-image and can be particularly damaging to the individual's mental health. It is not uncommon for the betrayed partner to ruminate on perceived inadequacies and compare themselves unfavorably to the person with whom their partner was unfaithful. Simultaneously, there can be an intense drive to understand why the infidelity occurred. The need for answers might become a preoccupation, with the betrayed partner analyzing past events for missed signs or unexplained discrepancies in their partner's behavior. They may question the unfaithful partner, seeking detailed accounts of the affair in an attempt to make sense of the betrayal. This search for understanding can become obsessive, but it is a natural response to the chaos that infidelity introduces into one's perceived reality. As the individual continues to process the inflicted pain, a stage of bargaining may emerge. This stage involves attempts to negotiate with oneself or the unfaithful partner in hopes of finding a solution to the turmoil. Individuals may resort to self-blame, thinking that if they had been different in some way, the infidelity might not have occurred. They may make mental deals or set ultimatums as a way to regain control over the situation and repair the damage to their relationship. Acceptance of the reality of infidelity is a crucial stage in the journey through emotional aftermath. This stage is not about condoning the unfaithfulness, but rather recognizing that it occurred and cannot be altered retrospectively. Acceptance is often the first step towards healing, as it allows the betrayed partner to begin considering their needs and how to move forward. Denial can only delay the inevitable grappling with emotions, so acceptance can represent an important turning point. The exploration of options is an integral part of the emotional aftermath of infidelity. Once acceptance has anchored the betrayed individual in reality, they can start to deliberate on the possible paths ahead. These options might include staying in the relationship and attempting to rebuild trust, or choosing to part ways and start anew. Decision-making in this stage is often a deliberative process, as the consequences of each choice can be long-lasting and profound. Communicating one's feelings and needs becomes paramount in the wake of infidelity. After the internal storm of emotions has been navigated, it is essential to express these emotions constructively. Effective communication can facilitate healing and understanding between partners. The betrayed individual might seek the assistance of a counselor or therapist to navigate this process, especially when the complexities of emotion hinder clear and productive dialogue. A notable stage in the emotional aftermath is the re-evaluation of personal boundaries and expectations within the relationship. Infidelity often forces a re-examination of what is considered acceptable behavior and what the consequences are for violating these boundaries. This stage can involve setting new rules or criteria for the continuation of the relationship, and a reassessment of what the betrayed partner is willing to tolerate moving forward. Eventually, a period of adjustment and adaptation occurs as the new reality is integrated into daily life. Whether the decision is to stay together or separate, the individual must learn to live with the changes brought by the discovery of infidelity. This process includes redefining one's identity, finding ways to cope with lingering emotions, and possibly forging new relationships or strengthening existing ones. Adaptation is an ongoing process, but with time it can lead to a renewed sense of self and a clearer direction for the future. The emotional stages following the discovery of infidelity are neither linear nor universal. Individuals may move through these phases in different orders, and some stages may reoccur or be experienced simultaneously. The journey through betrayal, trauma, and resilience is intensely personal, and the timeline for healing varies greatly from person to person. It is crucial to allow oneself the time and space to navigate these stages, seeking out support when necessary. Resilience emerges not from avoiding the emotional aftermath, but from working through it and growing in its wake. 4.3 Dealing with anger and resentment. The emotional response to infidelity is often complex, with anger and resentment being two of the most powerful and prevalent feelings following the discovery of a partner's betrayal. Anger, in the wake of infidelity, can be understood as a natural and protective emotional reaction. It arises not only from the hurt of being deceived, but also from the violation of trust and disruption of the perceived mutual respect that is foundational to any committed relationship. This anger might manifest in a variety of ways, ranging from feelings of irritation and frustration to intense rage. It's important to recognize that anger serves as an indicator of the perceived injustice and can act as a catalyst for addressing the issues at hand. However, the manner in which one deals with anger can have a significant impact on the recovery process, both individually and for the relationship, if a decision to repair and continue the partnership is made. Resentment, on the other hand, can be considered as anger's enduring cousin, often lingering long after the initial shock and anger have subsided. It is a persistent feeling of bitterness and ill will towards a partner who has committed infidelity. This enduring resentment can act as a barrier to healing and moving forward, as it keeps the individual anchored to the moment of betrayal and the pain it caused. Dealing with these emotions requires deliberate attention and often a strategic approach. Given that these emotions are intricately linked to one's thought processes and perceptions, tackling them necessitates adjustments to both outlook and internal dialogues. The initial step in dealing with anger and resentment is to acknowledge these emotions fully and unreservedly. Attempts to minimize or ignore anger can lead to it festering and transforming into more destructive forms, which might hinder the healing process. Individuals are encouraged to find safe and constructive outlets to express this anger. This could include writing about the emotions in a journal, engaging in physical exercise, or talking through the feelings with a supportive friend or a therapist. Expression is key to understanding the root causes of the anger and beginning to address them. Once anger is acknowledged and expressed, it is crucial to explore it with introspection and curiosity rather than judgment. Understanding why these emotions have emerged can be as important as understanding the infidelity that triggered them. Questions such as, "What specific actions of my partner make me angry?" or "What about this situation makes me feel powerless and hurt?" can lead to a deeper understanding of one's needs and expectations within the relationship. With this understanding, individuals can begin to articulate their boundaries and expectations more clearly, either within the context of the current relationship or for future ones. Communication plays a pivotal role in dealing with anger and resentment related to infidelity. If the relationship is to be salvaged, both partners must communicate openly about the emotions that the betrayal has elicited. This includes discussing the anger and resentment felt by the betrayed partner, as well as the guilt or shame that the offending partner might be experiencing. Both parties must strive to maintain a respectful and non-confrontational tone during these discussions to ensure that communication remains productive. It is beneficial to set clear rules for these discussions, such as taking turns speaking, not interrupting, and avoiding accusatory language. Setting boundaries is essential in the aftermath of infidelity. These boundaries, both personal and relational, serve as guidelines for acceptable behavior and form the bedrock upon which trust can begin to be rebuilt. The betrayed partner might need to set boundaries around personal space, access to sensitive information, or the need for transparency in certain areas of the relationship. Meanwhile, the offending partner must commit to respecting these boundaries and contributing to an environment that fosters trust and open communication. Forgiveness is a powerful and personal decision that can play a significant role in dealing with both anger and resentment. It is essential, however, to understand that forgiveness is a process that unfolds at different rates for everyone and should not be rushed. Forgiveness does not excuse the betrayal or eradicate the pain it caused. Instead, it is an act of releasing the grip that anger and resentment hold on one's emotional well-being. Choosing to forgive is not always a prerequisite for moving on, but for some, it can be a transformative step in healing and reclaiming personal peace. Managing expectations is an integral aspect of overcoming anger and resentment. Individuals must be realistic about the timetable for healing and the dynamics of rebuilding trust. Expecting immediate resolution or a return to the pre-betrayal status quo can lead to frustration and disappointment. It is also important to reassess expectations of the partner and the relationship itself, recognizing that change is a necessary part of the recovery process. In some cases, anger and resentment may persist despite efforts to process these emotions constructively. This persistence can indicate deeper issues, either within the individual or the relationship, that might require professional help to address. Therapy can offer a structured environment to explore these emotions further and can provide tools and techniques to resolve underlying conflicts that contribute to sustained anger and resentment. It is also crucial to recognize the potential impacts of sustained anger and resentment on one's mental and physical health. Chronic anger can lead to increased stress, which may manifest in several health issues, including high blood pressure, heart disease, headaches, and a weakened immune system. Attending to one's holistic well-being is therefore an important aspect of dealing with these intense emotions. Engaging in activities that promote relaxation and reduce stress, such as mindfulness, meditation, or yoga, can play a valuable role in maintaining health and aiding in emotional recovery. Lastly, finding support from others who have gone through similar experiences can provide both perspective and comfort during the healing process. Support groups, either in person or online, can offer a space for sharing stories, frustrations, and strategies for coping with anger and resentment. These groups can serve as reminders that one is not alone in dealing with the complex feelings that arise from infidelity, and can provide solidarity and encouragement on the journey toward healing and resilience. 4.4 The grief process in infidelity. The grief process in the wake of infidelity mirrors many of the stages commonly associated with the loss of a loved one. When the bond of trust is broken, the resulting emotional turmoil is not unlike mourning. For the individual who has been betrayed, there is usually an initial phase of shock and denial. The reality of the situation is often too painful to immediately accept. This period can manifest as numbness or disbelief, where the affected partner may carry on as if nothing has occurred, ignoring both the infidelity and its emotional repercussions. Such a response is a defense mechanism, a way to buffer the immediate shock by allowing the person to function in a seemingly normal capacity. However, denial can ultimately delay the processing of the situation and the necessary emotional work. Following denial, the betrayed individual often enters a phase of acute distress marked by intense emotional pain. During this stage, it is common to experience a range of feelings, including anger, sadness, fear, and confusion. Many grapple with profound anger towards their partner and the circumstances that led to the betrayal, while the sadness may reflect the sense of loss for the relationship as it was perceived to be. Fear can emerge from the uncertainty of the future and the stability of one's personal and familial life. Moreover, the internal chaos can lead to incessant questioning of one's worth, judgment, and decision-making ability. As the initial shock subsides, the bargaining stage may ensue. In this phase, individuals may replay scenarios and conversations in their minds, often imagining if different actions may have prevented the betrayal. They might bargain with themselves, their partner, or a higher power, promising change or concessions in return for how things were before the infidelity. This negotiation is fueled by the desire to find relief from the pain and regain a semblance of control over the situation. It's an attempt to find solutions or hope in a realm where one feels utterly helpless and vulnerable. Following bargaining, there is often a profound plunge into a stage of depression. Here, the realization fully settles in that the past cannot be altered and the future is irrevocably changed. This stage is characterized by a sense of mourning for what has been lost, the trust, the future that was planned together, and the self-esteem that was tied to being a partner in a seemingly secure relationship. Symptoms of depression can include withdrawal from social interaction, a lack of interest in activities once found enjoyable, and a pervasive sense of hopelessness. Grieving parties may also physically manifest their emotional pain through changes in their sleep, appetite, and energy levels. Ultimately, the individual begins to enter the stage of acceptance, which is not an acknowledgement that the infidelity was acceptable, but rather an acknowledgement of the new reality of their situation. This stage sees the individual starting to come to terms with the fact that the infidelity has occurred and is irreversible. It is about learning to live in the present scenario and beginning to look ahead, rather than being fixated on what has been lost. Acceptance does not imply that all the pain has vanished or that forgiveness has necessarily been granted, but it does indicate a willingness to move forward and make decisions based on the current state of affairs. In navigating the grief process of infidelity, individuals often oscillate between these stages, and not everyone experiences all stages or follows a linear path. It is a deeply personal journey that can vary considerably in duration and intensity. Factors such as the length and depth of the relationship, the nature of the betrayal, the individual's emotional resilience, and the presence of a supportive social network play significant roles in the healing process. Furthermore, the betrayal often prompts a re-evaluation of one's values and beliefs about relationships, trust, and personal boundaries. Healing from infidelity necessitates an active effort to process the gamut of emotions and to seek understanding and meaning from the experience. Individuals benefit from reflecting on their own needs and expectations from the relationship, as well as communicating these needs to their partner if they choose to work towards reconciliation. Therapy or counseling can provide a constructive environment for processing the emotional impact of infidelity. It can offer strategies for coping with the complex feelings and facilitating personal growth in the aftermath of betrayal. For some, the grief journey encompasses the realization that resilience is born out of surviving such a deep emotional wound. Resilience does not imply forgetting or diminishing the significance of the betrayal. Instead, it reflects the capacity to recover functionality and emotional well-being over time. Resilient individuals learn from the experience, which can contribute to a stronger sense of self and clearer comprehension of what they seek in relationships moving forward. They might also develop a deeper empathy for others who experience similar crises, being able to relate to the profound hurt and the challenging process of emotional recovery. In moving through grief and building resilience, those affected by infidelity often explore new facets of self-identity and personal strength. They might pursue activities or interests that were previously sidelined, as well as establish new goals independent of any relationship context. This period can be transformative, allowing for personal growth that extends beyond simply overcoming the incident of infidelity. It may entail establishing a new normal, one that accommodates the changed dynamics of their relationship status, whether they remain with their partner or decide to part ways. Addressing the grief process in infidelity requires vigilance against simplistic categorizations of the stages of mourning. While the framework of the grief process provides a useful guide, each person's experience is unique and requires an approach that is sensitive to their individual circumstances and emotional states. It is important to allow for the natural progression of emotions, and impatience for resolution can obstruct the healing process. The path towards recovery is nonlinear and can often feel convoluted, characterized by setbacks and advances. Recognizing this complexity is essential in offering the appropriate support and understanding to those embroiled in the tumult of infidelity. The emotional aftermath of infidelity is profound and complex, often requiring time and deliberate effort to work through. It challenges an individual's emotional capacity and deeply held beliefs about relationships, fidelity, and commitment. As the grief process unfolds, it offers an opportunity for reevaluation and personal evolution. The creation of a new narrative, one that includes the experience of infidelity yet is not defined by it, is the ultimate goal in the journey of healing and rediscovery. 4.5 Strategies for Building Emotional Resilience. The emotional upheaval caused by infidelity can severely impact the mental health and well-being of those involved. Building emotional resilience is essential for navigating the aftermath of betrayal and facilitating the healing process. Emotional resilience refers to the ability to adapt to stressful situations or crises and bounce back from adversity. It is not an innate trait, but rather a skill that can be developed and enhanced through various strategies. The journey toward emotional resilience must be approached with patience, as it is a gradual process that requires consistent effort and commitment. Engaging in self-reflection is a fundamental step in developing emotional resilience. Those harmed by infidelity may initially experience a wide range of intense emotions, including anger, sadness, and confusion. Taking the time to introspect allows individuals to understand and acknowledge these emotions without judgment. Self-reflection involves examining personal values, beliefs, and expectations, and understanding how the betrayal has affected them. Through this understanding, one can begin to identify shifts in perspective that may promote resilience. Journaling can be a practical tool in this endeavor, as it provides a private, unfiltered medium for expressing one's thoughts and emotions. Building a support network is another key component of emotional resilience. Infidelity can be isolating, sometimes causing individuals to withdraw from social interactions for fear of judgment or pain. However, surrounding oneself with a dependable group of friends, family members, or support groups can offer much-needed comfort and perspective. These support networks can provide encouragement, lend an ear to frustrations and concerns, and offer experiences from their own lives that may demonstrate the transient nature of current hardships. Additionally, professional counseling or therapy can be an integral part of this network, offering personalized guidance and coping strategies. Maintaining physical health is also crucial in bolstering emotional resilience. Physical activity has been shown to have a significant effect on mood and mental health, due to the release of endorphins, which act as natural mood lifters. Regular exercise can also provide a constructive outlet for stress and anxiety that builds up following infidelity. Combined with proper nutrition and adequate sleep, regular physical exercise can contribute to a better overall state of mind, making individuals better equipped to handle emotional stress. Practicing mindfulness and meditation has been found to be beneficial in developing emotional resilience. Mindfulness involves being present in the moment and accepting thoughts and feelings without judgment. Meditation can be a practical method to achieve mindfulness, as it often teaches individuals to focus on their breathing or awareness, bringing calmness and clarity of thought. Engaging in these practices can help reduce stress levels, enhance concentration, and promote a sense of peace, which can be especially valuable when dealing with the turmoil of infidelity. Another strategy is setting realistic expectations. After experiencing betrayal, it is not uncommon for individuals to develop a skeptical outlook on relationships. While it is important to have a clear understanding of reality, setting excessively low expectations can hinder the healing process and prevent the formation of meaningful connections in the future. Emotional resilience involves balancing a rational awareness of the potential negative outcomes with the ability to remain hopeful and open to positive experiences. Adjusting expectations also means recognizing that recovery is a process with ups and downs, and that setbacks do not equate to failures. Establishing boundaries is an integral part of ensuring emotional well-being and building resilience following infidelity. Emotional boundaries help define what is acceptable and what is not, promoting a sense of self-respect and self-worth. For those working through infidelity, setting boundaries can mean deciding the extent of engagement with the partner who committed the betrayal or outlining the conditions necessary for considering reconciliation. It could also involve personal limits on how much of the hurt they are willing to relive in conversations with others. Adhering to these boundaries instills a strong sense of control over one's emotional landscape. Identifying and focusing on areas of control is a useful approach in overcoming feelings of helplessness that can accompany infidelity. While one cannot control the actions or decisions of others, individuals do have control over their responses and choices. By concentrating on aspects they can influence, such as their attitudes, behaviors, and goals, individuals foster a sense of empowerment. For example, one may choose to volunteer, focus on career achievements, or take up new hobbies. These aspects of life can provide a substantial foundation for rebuilding self-esteem and purpose. Engagement in creative outlets is another strategy for building emotional resilience. Artistic expression, whether through painting, writing, music, or any other creative endeavor, provides a means to process complex emotions associated with betrayal. Creative activities can aid in transferring internalized pain into something tangible, often leading to a deeper understanding of one's emotional state, as well as providing a sense of accomplishment. Resilience can be further reinforced by making a conscious effort to maintain a positive outlook. This does not mean ignoring the negative aspects of a situation or pretending that everything is fine when it is not. Instead, cultivating a positive outlook means recognizing and appreciating the good things that remain despite the betrayal. It involves focusing on potential opportunities for growth and learning that can arise from challenging experiences. Gratitude practices, such as writing down things one is thankful for each day, can shift the focus from what has been lost to what continues to provide value and joy. Finally, the process of redefining one's identity independent of the relationship is a powerful aspect of building emotional resilience. Infidelity often brings about a crisis of identity, as individuals question who they are outside of the relationship and what they truly want in life. Engaging in self-discovery can lead to a stronger sense of self and purpose. By pursuing personal interests, establishing individual goals, and reaffirming personal values, individuals can emerge from the experience of infidelity with a clearer sense of their identity and a more resilient emotional foundation. Developing emotional resilience in the face of infidelity is a multifaceted process that involves self-awareness, social support, health maintenance, mindfulness, realistic expectations, boundary setting, focusing on control, creative expression, a positive outlook, and redefining personal identity. Each strategy plays a vital role in helping individuals adapt and overcome the emotional challenges presented by betrayal. It is through resilience that healing becomes not just a possibility, but a tangible path forward. 4.6 Self-esteem and self-identity post-affair. Infidelity can profoundly impact an individual's self-esteem and self-identity, as these concepts are closely interlinked with one's perception of their relationship and partner's faithfulness. In the wake of an affair, there can be significant psychological and emotional consequences that lead to fundamental questions about self-worth. Individuals often report feelings of inadequacy, viewing the infidelity as a reflection of their own shortcomings or a failure to satisfy their partner. It is not uncommon for self-esteem to plummet as one grapples with the stark contrast between their belief in their relationship and the reality of their partner's unfaithfulness. The loss of self-esteem can manifest in various unhealthy behaviors. Those affected may seek validation outside the relationship or from within themselves in potentially destructive ways. They might question their attractiveness, competence, or overall desirability, leading to a perpetual cycle of self-doubt and scrutiny. The affected person may overanalyze past actions and interactions within the relationship, trying to pinpoint what they believe to be the cause of their partner's infidelity. This type of rumination is both an attempt to regain some sense of control and an expression of deep self-criticism. There is a challenging journey to redefining self-identity after an affair. The individual's sense of self was likely intertwined with their perception of themselves as a partner within the relationship. Infidelity disrupts this perception, necessitating a reconstruction of identity that doesn't rely on the partner or the relationship for validation. This reconstruction involves a critical assessment of personal values, beliefs, and goals, separating these from the relationship context and recentering them within the individual's personal framework. This process can be particularly difficult if the person has placed significant emphasis on their role as a partner as a core element of their identity. The rebuilding of self-esteem involves both intrapersonal and interpersonal work. Internally, one must challenge the negative self-beliefs that have taken hold because of the betrayal. This involves cognitive restructuring, a psychological technique whereby individuals identify and dispute irrational or maladaptive thoughts. Part of this cognitive work includes the challenging of any belief that equates the partner's infidelity with the affected individual's worth or value. Interpersonally, individuals may benefit from seeking supportive relationships with friends, family, and sometimes professionals who reaffirm their worth and assist them in regaining a balanced perspective on themselves and their relationship. The relationship between self-esteem and the propensity for self-improvement post-affair is complex. For some, a drop in self-esteem can spur a period of intense self-reflection and subsequent personal growth. Individuals may take newfound interest in their hobbies, career, or education, redefining their sense of purpose independent of their relationship. For others, the erosion of self-esteem can paralyze, leading to withdrawal from activities that once gave them pleasure and confidence. Both responses are common and are reflective of individual coping mechanisms and resilience. Research indicates that factors such as social support, a person's pre-existing level of self-esteem, and the availability of therapeutic resources greatly influence the repair of self-esteem and the rebuilding of a positive self-identity. Supportive societal structures, such as accessible mental health services and community groups, can provide individuals with a crucial framework for processing the affair and its impact on their self-view. A strong pre-existing self-concept can act as a buffer, reducing the duration and intensity of self-esteem damage following an affair. Different individuals will navigate the aftermath of an affair in ways that reflect their personal histories and temperaments. For some, the reevaluation of self-identity and values that follows infidelity can lead to a more authentic and grounded self-concept. This process can prompt critical thought about personal boundaries and expectations in relationships, leading to clearer communication and a stronger sense of self in future partnerships. For others, the process can be significantly more challenging, requiring extended time spans and possibly professional help to overcome feelings of betrayal and to restore a positive self-image. The linkage of personal identity to partnership is particularly noteworthy in societies where monogamous relationships are the norm, and an individual's status often depends on their role in such relationships. In these contexts, infidelity can lead not just to personal, but also to social identity crises. The impacted partner must negotiate not only their internal sense of self, but also their public persona, which might have shifted due to the perception of being a victim of infidelity. This external pressure can exacerbate the challenges of recovering self-esteem. Cultivating resilience in the face of betrayal is a vital component of restoring self-esteem and self-identity post-affair. Resilience encompasses the ability to bounce back from adversities, learn from experiences, and continue to grow despite challenges. It includes recognizing personal strengths and reminding oneself of past successes in overcoming difficulties. The importance of such resilience cannot be overstated. It is the bedrock upon which individuals can start to rebuild their shattered self-esteem and recreate their personal identity. Finally, it's imperative to acknowledge that the path to regaining self-esteem and self-identity after an affair is deeply personal and non-linear. There will be setbacks and triumphs, moments of clarity interspersed with confusion and doubt. Healing and rebuilding are ongoing processes, with the ultimate goal being a place of balanced self-evaluation and a strong, redefined sense of self that can withstand future relationship challenges. DAGI 4.7 Managing Anxiety and Insecurity. Understanding and navigating the turbulent emotions that follow the discovery of infidelity can be one of the most challenging aspects of rebuilding oneself and potentially the relationship. Anxiety and insecurity are common reactions when one learns of a partner's betrayal. These emotions are often exacerbated by the erosion of trust and the uncertainty about the future of the relationship. Managing anxiety and insecurity involves recognizing the symptoms, understanding their origins, and implementing strategies to alleviate their intensity. Anxiety in the aftermath of infidelity can present itself in various forms, such as obsessive thoughts about the affair, constant worry about the future, or physical symptoms like insomnia or lack of appetite. Such anxiety is a natural response to the perceived threat to one's sense of security and the stability of the relationship. These feelings are intensified by the loss of trust and questioning the authenticity of the shared history with the cheating partner. It is essential for the individual experiencing anxiety to acknowledge that such feelings are a normal part of the healing process, and being compassionate towards oneself is key during this time. Insecurity following infidelity can shake the very foundation of one's self-image and self-worth. This can result in continuous self-doubt and questioning one's attractiveness, intelligence, or worthiness of love and respect. Insecurity may also lead to a hypervigilant state where the injured party excessively scrutinizes the partner's behavior, looking for signs of further betrayal. This state can be exhausting and counterproductive, as it may hinder the process of healing and reconciliation, if that is the chosen path. Cognitive behavioral techniques can be particularly helpful in managing these intense emotions. Cognitive restructuring involves identifying and challenging the irrational beliefs and negative thought patterns that fuel anxiety and insecurity. Replacing such thoughts with more balanced and rational ones can reduce emotional distress. For instance, instead of thinking, "I will never be able to trust anyone again," it may be helpful to consider, "Trust may take time to rebuild, but it is possible with effort and open communication." Another important aspect is building a support system consisting of friends, family, or support groups. Engaging with others who have experienced similar situations can provide validation and understanding that one is not alone in their struggle. Additionally, receiving external perspectives may help reveal blind spots in one's thinking that contribute to ongoing anxiety and insecurity. Sharing one's feelings and being heard can be a powerful step in the healing journey. Developing healthy coping mechanisms is crucial. Some individuals may find solace in activities that promote mindfulness and relaxation, such as meditation, yoga, or deep breathing exercises. Others may benefit from physical activities, like running or swimming, to alleviate stress and improve mood. Making time for hobbies and interests outside the relationship can also serve as a valuable reminder of one's individual identity, which can be overshadowed by the affair and its fallout. Therapy may be a beneficial avenue for dealing with the complicated emotions resulting from infidelity. A skilled therapist can provide a safe space to explore feelings of anxiety and insecurity while guiding the individual towards healing. Therapy modalities like EMDR, eye movement desensitization, and reprocessing may help in processing traumatic elements of the betrayal and reduce the intensity of emotional distress. Engaging in self-care is another fundamental element in managing anxiety and insecurity. This can take many forms, including eating a balanced diet, getting sufficient sleep, and practicing self-compassion. Prioritizing self-care underscores the significance of one's well-being independent of the relationship status and can lay the groundwork for improved self-esteem and resilience. It's equally important to set boundaries within the relationship if it continues post-affair. Clear communication about needs and expectations can create a framework for rebuilding trust. Boundaries might involve transparency about future interactions with others, or specific actions the cheating partner can take to reassure the injured party. While this does not eliminate anxiety or insecurity, it can create a sense of safety that allows these emotions to be more manageable. As one works through the emotional turmoil, it's useful to recognize and celebrate progress, no matter how small. Progress may include moments of clarity, instances of happiness, or periods where anxiety and insecurity are less pronounced. Acknowledging these can sustain motivation and foster a sense of forward movement, even amidst setbacks. Finally, understanding that managing anxiety and insecurity is not a linear process is vital. There will be good days and bad days, and setbacks are a normal part of recovery. Patience with oneself and the situation is crucial. It's also important to revisit and adapt coping strategies as time passes and things change, ensuring that they remain effective and supportive of one's evolving needs and circumstances. The journey through the emotional aftermath of infidelity is unique to each individual. Managing anxiety and insecurity takes time, effort, and a commitment to self-improvement. With the appropriate support and self-care, resilience can be built and a sense of normalcy can return. Remaining engaged with the process, even when it is challenging, can ultimately lead to personal growth and a deeper understanding of oneself and what is important in a relationship. 4.8 Diverse emotional responses and case studies. Infidelity can trigger a complex spectrum of emotions that are unique to each individual affected by the betrayal. Emotions can range from heartbreak and devastation to anger, confusion, and disbelief. Understanding these emotional responses and how they manifest allows for greater insight into the human experience following infidelity. Individuals may find themselves oscillating between different emotional states, and such fluctuations can be alarming and difficult to manage. The visceral experience of betrayal can induce strong emotional reactions that are not linear and often challenge the capacity for self-regulation. The first emotional response many experience upon discovering infidelity is shock. This can be akin to a physical jolt, creating a sense of disorientation and disbelief. Shock functions as the mind's momentary pause button, allowing time to process the initial impact of the betrayal. During this stage, individuals may struggle to accept that the infidelity has occurred, often experiencing a numbing sensation that protects against overwhelming pain. As reality begins to set in, the shock gradually dissipates, paving the way for other emotions to emerge. Following shock, the emotion of denial commonly surfaces as a defense mechanism. Denial acts as a buffer against the full brunt of the emotional pain, and individuals may dismiss the evidence before them or rationalize the situation to make it less painful. This denial can persist for varying lengths of time and can complicate the healing process if not addressed. It is an internal struggle to align the reality of the betrayal with pre-existing beliefs about the partner and the relationship, which can be incredibly hard to reconcile. Anger often arises as a direct reaction to perceived injustice and shattered trust. It is a powerful emotion that can provoke a desire to retaliate or fixate on the wrongdoings of the unfaithful partner. Anger can manifest in different forms. Some may experience an explosive outburst, while others might harbor quiet resentment. The intensity of this anger is tied closely to the individual's values, expectations, and past experiences. However, while anger is a natural and expected response, letting it dominate one's emotional state for an extended period can be harmful, both psychologically and physically. Betrayal can also precipitate profound sadness, leading to feelings of loss and grief. The betrayed individual may mourn not only the loss of trust, but also the future they had envisioned with their partner. This grief is multifaceted and could encompass loss of identity, the relationship's envisioned trajectory, and a sense of security within the partnership. The depth of this sadness is indicative of the level of emotional investment in the relationship, and navigating through it is essential for healing. Anxiety and fear are common in the aftermath of infidelity. The uncertainty of what the future holds and the fear of being hurt again may loom large. Anxiety can present as incessant worry, hypervigilance toward the partner's actions, or overwhelming doubt about one's own judgment. This state can create an exhausting cycle, where the betrayed partner seeks control over uncontrollable circumstances. While these fears can be incapacitating, they can diminish over time with support and self-compassion. Jealousy may emerge as a territorial response to betrayal, often accompanied by a comparative dynamic where the betrayed individual measures themselves against the third party. This jealousy is not simply a fear of loss, but also an expression of wounded pride and threatened self-esteem. Navigating jealousy requires acknowledgement of the pain and insecurity it stems from, and the deliberate effort to rebuild self-worth independent of the relationship dynamics. Guilt is a less commonly discussed emotion, but can be very potent, especially if the betrayed individual internalizes responsibility for their partner's infidelity. They may question whether their own actions or inattentiveness contributed to the situation, leading to self-blame. This self-recriminating view can be debilitating and often necessitates external perspective to realign one's sense of self and the realistic responsibilities within the relationship. Feelings of isolation can manifest when dealing with infidelity, particularly as individuals may feel that their experiences are unique or embarrassing. This isolation can prevent them from seeking support or sharing their feelings, thus exacerbating the emotional turmoil. The act of reaching out and finding solidarity with others who have similar experiences can be pivotal in overcoming feelings of loneliness and disconnection. Finally, in some cases, relief can be an unexpected emotional response to infidelity. This may happen in relationships where deep-rooted issues were already present, and the act of betrayal brings them significantly to the forefront. Such relief can lead to a newfound sense of freedom and the opportunity for personal growth. Although this might seem counterintuitive, it underscores the complexity of emotional responses to infidelity. It is a clear indicator that the meaning and impact of infidelity vary widely among individuals. 4.9 Forgiveness and letting go. The emotional aftermath of infidelity can linger far beyond the initial shock and pain. Forgiveness and letting go are often proposed as pivotal steps in moving forward, whether that involves reconciling with a partner or finding closure independently. Understanding what forgiveness is and what it isn't is crucial for anyone grappling with the fallout of betrayal. Forgiveness does not imply that you condone the infidelity, nor does it require that you forget what transpired. Rather, forgiveness is a process through which the betrayed party comes to terms with what happened, relinquishes feelings of resentment or vengeance, and ultimately liberates themselves from the emotional burden that the betrayal has placed upon them. For many, the concept of forgiveness is surrounded by misconceptions that can create barriers to the process. It's common to confuse forgiveness with reconciliation, but it is important to recognize that one can forgive without necessarily agreeing to continue a relationship with the unfaithful partner. Forgiving is a personal act that directly benefits the one who has been wronged, allowing them to heal and regain peace. It is an inward journey that doesn't necessarily need the involvement of the offending partner. In some cases, the unfaithful partner may not even be aware that forgiveness has been granted, especially if the affected individual chooses to heal discreetly and independently. When it comes to letting go, people often struggle with the idea of releasing the hurt and the mistrust that has become entrenched within them. It's natural for the process to be gradual and at times non-linear. Letting go does not happen overnight, and for many, it can be a cycle of progression and regression. The act of letting go requires a conscious decision to stop dwelling on the past and to stop allowing the infidelity to define one's emotional state. It is often accompanied by an acceptance of the reality of the situation, acknowledging that what happened cannot be changed, but how one moves forward from the experience is within their control. The process of forgiveness often involves a thorough understanding of the circumstances that led to the infidelity. While this is not about finding excuses for the betrayer, it is about seeking a deeper comprehension of the human flaws and dynamics that contributed to the breach of trust. This understanding can often help soften feelings of raw anger and hurt, replacing them with a more nuanced view of the relationship and of the partner who strayed. For those who choose to continue the relationship, this understanding can be the foundation upon which a stronger, more transparent partnership is built. For those who choose to part ways, this can facilitate a healthier detachment and the ability to interact civilly if needed. The steps towards forgiveness are varied and depend on the individual. Some find that engaging in dialogue with the unfaithful partner can aid in the process, while others might find writing about their feelings or speaking with a counselor more helpful. At the core of these approaches is the need to express and process the emotions that have arisen from the infidelity. Bottling up anger, disappointment, or sadness can hinder progress. Thus, finding a safe and constructive way to confront these emotions is paramount for healing. Forgiveness can also benefit from empathy, which involves trying to understand the feelings and perspective of the unfaithful partner. Although difficult, practicing empathy does not mean justifying the betrayal, but rather seeking to comprehend the multifaceted nature of human behavior. This practice can diminish the tendency to demonize the partner and can introduce a more balanced view of the situation, which often aids in the healing process. Letting go, similarly, is fostered by engaging in self-care and focusing on personal growth. Investing time and energy into one's well-being and interests can create a new sense of purpose and identity, apart from the relationship affected by infidelity. This can include pursuing new hobbies, strengthening other relationships, and setting goals unrelated to the partner or the betrayal. Embracing such changes reinforces individual resilience and can diminish the hold that the experience of infidelity has on one's life. It's also significant to set boundaries during the process of forgiveness and letting go. These boundaries may relate to the amount of information about the infidelity one wishes to know, the terms of the relationship moving forward, or the expectations for future interactions with the unfaithful partner. Setting clear boundaries can provide a sense of control and safety as one navigates the emotional terrain post-betrayal. An often overlooked aspect of forgiveness and letting go is the notion of self-forgiveness. Those who have been betrayed might sometimes feel they are somehow responsible for their partner's infidelity. They may blame themselves for not seeing signs or for not being enough in some way. Learning to forgive oneself is an essential part of overcoming these unfounded self-blame feelings. Self-forgiveness involves acknowledging any personal errors without exaggerating them and understanding that responsibility for the infidelity lies with the person who chose to be unfaithful. Reaching out for support from friends, family, or support groups can provide reinforcement throughout the process of forgiveness and letting go. Sharing the burden of hurt with others not only alleviates some of the pain, but also can give access to alternative perspectives and coping mechanisms. It is also a means of holding on to the reality that while the betrayal is a part of one's story, it does not encompass the entirety of one's life or worth. Finally, it is pertinent to mention that forgiveness and letting go are highly personal and individual processes. There is no prescribed timeline or universal method for achieving them. Each person must find their path in their own time, through the pain and confusion that infidelity causes. Forgiveness and letting go are not signs of weakness, but acts of strength that signify an understanding of the complex nature of human relationships and recognition of one's right to move forward in life unencumbered by the weight of past hurts. 4.10 External Support Mechanisms and Networks. The aftermath of infidelity can be an emotionally devastating period for the individuals involved. During this time, support mechanisms and social networks play a crucial role in the coping and healing process. One of the primary sources of external support comes from close friends and family members. These individuals often provide the immediate emotional scaffolding that a person affected by infidelity needs. Emotional support from family and friends might include listening to the individual's feelings without judgment, affirming their feelings, and offering reassurance of their value and worth. This form of support often acts as the first layer of social contact that helps the individual to not feel isolated. Beyond the immediate circle of family and friends, some individuals seek support from their community. Community can take various forms, such as religious groups, neighborhood associations, or local support groups. Involvement in community activities may serve as a distraction from the pain of betrayal and provide a broader context where individuals can see they are not alone in facing adversity. Community involvement also presents opportunities for individuals to forge new relationships and to engage in experiences that can foster growth and meaning in the aftermath of infidelity. Professional counseling is another avenue of external support that many individuals find beneficial. Therapy, whether individual or couple-based, can help navigate the complex emotions and decisions that arise from infidelity. Therapists can assist individuals in processing their emotions, improving communication skills, and developing coping strategies that facilitate healing. By offering a structured environment, therapists can help people address the root causes of the infidelity, work through the trauma of betrayal, and, if desired, rebuild the relationship on new terms. Self-help books and online forums are also resources that can play a supporting role. These mediums allow individuals to educate themselves about the dynamics of infidelity and recovery at their own pace. Self-help materials can provide insights and strategies for coping with the emotional turmoil. Online forums, meanwhile, may provide a sense of community and anonymity, allowing individuals to connect with others who have experienced similar situations and to share stories, advice, and encouragement. Support can also come from less traditional sources, such as expressive arts and recreational activities. Engaging in art, music, writing, or sports can be therapeutic for some individuals. These activities might not only serve as outlets for emotions, but can also help individuals to reclaim a sense of identity that may have been compromised by the experience of infidelity. Moreover, such activities often lead to the development of new skills, creating a positive focus and a sense of achievement. For some people, turning to mentorship could be an important part of the healing process. A mentor who has successfully navigated the aftermath of infidelity can provide guidance, share experiences, and offer insights that can be highly valuable. The mentor-mentee relationship can give the betrayed person a model of resilience and survival, serving as a beacon of hope during a difficult time. Legal and financial counseling also play significant roles, particularly when infidelity leads to the dissolution of a marriage or long-term relationship. Legal counsel can help individuals understand their rights and responsibilities, while financial counseling can aid in planning for an independent future. This practical support is essential in providing individuals with control over their situation and equipping them with the tools to make informed decisions. When children are involved, external support must also cater to their needs. Pediatric counseling and family therapy can help children process their feelings and cope with the changes in their family dynamics. Schools and community groups may provide additional support structures for children, including extracurricular activities and programs designed to support children through personal challenges. Finally, the role of online resources and mobile applications should not be overlooked. The digital age has facilitated access to a wide range of support tools, from informative websites and articles to chatbots designed to provide emotional support. Mobile applications can offer daily tips, mood tracking, and connect users with a community or professional help with the tap of a button. The immediacy and accessibility of digital support can be of great comfort to individuals seeking help. External support mechanisms and networks are integral to the recovery from the emotional impact of infidelity. These support systems provide comfort, advice, practical help, and companionship. Whether through personal connections, professional help, community activities, or digital platforms, a well-rounded network of support can help individuals weather the storm of betrayal and emerge with resilience. Engaging with these support systems often requires individuals to take the difficult step of reaching out, but doing so can mark the beginning of the journey toward healing and rebuilding.